What up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of the Black Top Podcast. It's been like, I think I looked at our account before this. I think it's been a month since our last little episode. You know, uh, life is life kind of thing. Had health and safety protocols, school, work, all the things that kind of pile on top of like our everyday life outside of this. But considering that, we're kind of right in that awkward sense of the off season where all the major free agents have signed. There's not really too many trades going on, but we're here to talk ball. Obviously there's been some stuff going around in the news. Disclaimer, we're not really going to talk that much about KD just because one, it's been talked to death, and two, I don't really see him going anywhere personally until like later on. But that's neither here nor there. Boys, how are we doing?
Miss you guys, man.
Yeah, I miss
It's
you
been way
too.
too long. We were supposed to have our freaking in-person shoot. Oh, that'll still happen. But
That will
man, I
definitely
was
still
actually still
happen.
looking forward to that. But as long as Christian's feeling better,
Hundies.
you know,
Yeah, I had the Bovid for
Yeah.
the
anyone
boat.
listening out there,
Christian
but
has
doing better now for sure.
That's good. Yeah. Christian's out of the health and safety protocols.
Now he's ready to play. But apparently his back hurts like Ben Simmons. So,
Oh,
no, I'm just kidding.
nah, his back hurts like LeBron from carrying that stank ass Lakers team. Now, speaking of the Lakers, our first, not really our first little bit of, but I don't know if you guys have seen, but we have been presented with the 2022 Christmas Day schedule. Now, obviously, there's like other little bits and pieces of the regular season that have been announced. I think the Warriors are gonna have a ring night in front of LeBron James and the rest of the Lakers. But uh, yeah. So the way I'm seeing it here, I don't know if there's actual order, but first things first, in terms of what Sham tweeted, it's Bucks at Celtics, 76ers at the Knicks, Suns at Nuggets, Lakers at Mavericks, and the Grizzlies at Warriors. I don't know if that's the actual order. If it is, I'm not gonna lie, yo. It's gonna be three really nice games and then two kind of shitty games sandwiched between, in my opinion. I don't know. That's just my take. What do you guys think?
Which two games do you think are going to be shown? Okay, well, I think the Knicks and who else was it? Sorry, the
I
76ers. That like
I think the Sixers and Knicks game is gonna be pretty buns, and I think Lakers and Mavericks is gonna be like
Yeah, I agree with that
game
one.
game seven on crack.
Game 7 on crack. I don't even think he come close to Game 7. It's a game -4. I don't.
No, no,
Yeah, I think like those two games are gonna be trash.
yeah, but I mean, okay, let's go kind of bit by bit. First off, we got the Bucks at Celtics. This is a rematch of 2021 Christmas Day, where the Bucks made an incredible comeback, as well as the semifinals. I think, yeah, the semifinals for the Eastern Conference last year. And what happened. Celtics made their way to an NBA Finals, and Jason Tatum was without the ring. But yeah, what are your guys' opinions based on like one? I don't wouldn't even necessarily call it a rivalry, because I mean, yeah, there's like the series they had before when Kyrie was still there, and then this whole thing. But based on the moves that both these teams have made, how are you guys feeling about this game heading into one of the most important days of the regular season?
I think it'll be a fun one. I think I'm really excited, even though it's a low key underrated story. I'm really excited to see Malcolm Brogdon and his Celtics jersey play against his old team. I think that'll be fun. And then obviously the star power between JB and Tatum against Giannis, Drew, and our boy Chris Middleton. So I don't see anything wrong with this one. This one for me is more like a hey, this was a a playoff series. This is obviously like something that we were all shocked by at the end of the day. No one thought that. I mean, Boston was a good team, but no one thought that Boston would knock off Milwaukee in the playoffs there and eventually make it to the NBA Finals. But you know, I think this is. Sorry, DJ. I can see your face
Hey,
right now.
you're getting no disagreements from me. Nobody's
Yeah,
not, especially like.
yeah. I think this will be a fun game for Christmas Day. There's nothing wrong with this, in my opinion.
What about you,
yeah,
Jim?
I think it's honestly, I mean, Christmas Day games are the quote unquote Eastern Conference final or Western Conference final previews usually, and that's obviously a projection, but I think this is a true Eastern Conference final preview. You know, saying as long as the matchups and the playoffs align, then these two teams up for sure I think would go against each other.
No
Top
doubt.
to top.
No doubt. So I mean, I feel that we're all in agreement that the Sixers and Knicks is going to be buns. I mean, the way I'm seeing it, Joel Embiid is going to have 50. Mitchell Robinson's going to have 4 fouls in the span of like 5 minutes. So, I mean, is there any kind of redeeming qualities to like this game, you guys think?
I personally think it could be a year where RJ Barrett really, you know, starts to take shape into the player a lot of people want him to be. I was high on the Knicks not last year but the year before, and honestly coming into last year because of how well they played. Kind of when Julius Randle had won that Most Improved Player. I think they'll definitely take a bit of form next year. I think they'll be more competitive than they were last year, but I still think the game will be pretty mediocre compared to the other games.
No doubt, no doubt. Ruben, anything to add or just kind of echoing all the same sentiments?
I'm on the same place, man.
All right.
I think Philly's gonna beat New York by at least 20.
Ooh. Yeah, I would definitely take the over on that. Okay, that being said though, Ruben, how about you kick us off for the third game in this slate here? The Suns at Nuggets. How you feeling about that?
I'll be honest, I'm not that interested in this one either, though.
Really?
No, not really. Not really. I don't find. I like there's a lot of star power in it. Between D-Book, CP. Jamal's gonna be back and Nikola Jokic. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not really that. There's not other than what the Jokic and the Booker thing and the whole rivalry that happened, the Jokic brothers and that whole thing. Like, you want to make that a story, fine, put that on Christmas Day. But for me, it's not that interesting of a game. I think it's like, yeah, it's two elite contenders. But man, I would have much rather seen you know, I love both of these teams, but I much would have rather seen the Clippers in there rather than one of these. Like, it would Clippers and Suns or the Clippers and Nuggets, whichever. I mean, obviously it would have had to have been Suns over the Nuggets, but I would have rather had the Clippers in there, considering their guys are back, and it seems like the conversation around them is like they are the title contender, the title favorites, and I wouldn't even argue against that either. So I would have been more interested to see the Clippers in there.
Fair point, fair point. But I feel like, you're taking it out on the Suns and Nuggets, just because, such and such. But let's be real here. The one team that shouldn't be on is the fucking Lakers. You know, I think the Lakers and the Knicks are obviously, NBA history, NBA lore, and all that crap. But let's be honest here, man. Last year, can you guys just think about all the days where, you went through watching some of the games and then the last game of the night,
With the Lakers,
yeah,
yeah, it was awful.
that was
I don't know. I don't know. There's something about LeBron James on Christmas Day for me that just feels traditional, where it's almost like you gotta have
yeah,
LeBron on Christmas Day, And why did my shit go so blurry? And but yeah, LeBron James on Christmas Day is like tradition for me. It's more so LeBron than I think the Lakers at this point. Because if LeBron wasn't on that squad, I mean, they actually, that's a lie. They'd probably still have the Lakers on Christmas Day, but I don't know. I feel like Christmas Day, as long as LeBron's in the league, just it wouldn't be normal without him playing on December 25th.
very true, very true. Now, heading from there, Christian, speaking of LeBron, how much do you think the Mavericks going to win by on Christmas Day?
Man, I don't know. I mean, I might say I have hope in the Lakers. That's a bit of an overstatement. But, I think there is something to prove for them this year. I think the matchups, if you think about it, the game, if you consider a full healthy squad, I don't know who's really taking AD on that team. Christian Wood is honestly as much of a power bones as AD is, like in most senses, like in terms of just how fragile they are. maybe AD has shown a bit more, but Christian Wood has honestly got some pretty weak ankles. Um, I don't know. I could see a competitive matchup if AD were to return to a top 10 MVP voting type form, but otherwise it's Mavs by 25. I'd say.
Ooh, 25. Fucking man, 30. Right. Now obviously this last game, I think, not to be biased, but outside of the Bucks and Celtics, when you look at all the games that are slated, I think this is going to be the one. Draymond Green just had his wedding. Congrats to that man. They look like they had a fun time with that little cannabis bar. But
Yeah, it's crazy.
yeah, for real. Grizzlies at Warriors. I mean, I don't know if you guys remember, but there was that whole little like what was it? Kind of not really back and forth, but the whole thing where uh Jaw and Draymond had a little back and forth on the Twitters with like the Christmas Day stuff, and now we're gonna see this. First of all, do you guys think this is like even necessarily a rivalry, or do you think this is just sort of kind of that recency? Not, I wouldn't use the word bias, but the recency beef, I think we'll call it, because last year we had the Hawks and the Knicks on Christmas Day, and that wasn't anything brewing before that playoff series, but obviously that was that. But yeah, what y'all think about that last game?
I think this is another Hawks and Knicks situation, but I think it'll last longer considering that the Grizzlies are going to be around for a while. And I think it's just one of those things where it's like, yeah, there's a bit of recency bias because like it's a hot thing, it's a hot narrative from last year. You also had Klay Thompson talking all that smack about what's the name, the Jaren Jackson. When he tweeted strength in numbers and he started talking all that mess, and then John Morant talked all that mess, and that's kind of how it all started, anyways. And then I think it was kind of just the players enforcing themselves into this Christmas Day matchup. And I think we know that those guys, there's a little bit of tension between the two teams, just with their personnel. But unless the Grizzlies take out the Warriors, um, in a playoff series, or if they're constantly meeting each other every year, then I don't think it's much of a rivalry other than narrative basis stuff. These guys are talking mess. That's it. I don't think it's a rivalry. And I'm sure Draymond would probably say the same thing. I think he has said the same thing on his podcast, anyways. So
Yeah, what do you think, Chin?
No, yeah, I don't really see like kind of go along with what Ruben said. I don't see really much of a rivalry between the two teams, all besides the fact that yeah, there is like some tension. I mean, I would say honestly, out of all the series from last year's playoffs, that or sorry, I guess last season's playoffs, that this was like the most heated series. Like the stuff with Dylan Brooks, I think especially was like what really, I think, caused a lot of commotion. And considering like yeah, I guess all the drama that has happened, that'd be the only reason. It kind of reminds me. I mean, I watched Last Dance recently. Kind of reminds me of like a very much softer version of like Detroit and the Bulls, like where maybe in this situation it's the roles are a little reversed, but I feel like Memphis is like kind of knocking on the door of the team that's like been the reigning champs for the last some odd years. But I wouldn't say Memphis is the next team up necessarily. I just think from statistics and the eye test that they could be the next team up. But I don't think there's much of a rivalry there yet to pretty much come full circle. The
I like
Warriors,
that
the
comparison.
Warriors are the best team, honestly.
No doubt. You mentioning that kind of sparked this idea that I've kind of not necessarily been thinking of, but you, in the way how you described kind of the Last Dance, kind of sparked this. I think it's the only essence of the word rivalry that comes from it. I think is in the fact that I'll use the word potential because, like you guys said, the Grizzlies aren't necessarily next up, but they're in that run for that. And I think it's only somewhat of a rivalry in that, you know, it's that changing of the guard. The Warriors used to be the young runner ups and all that stuff, and now John Moran and the Grizzlies are showing up. You guys know what it reminds me of? Man, before I was a Bucks fan, it's Pacers, baby. Indiana Paul George was a fucking animal. Now, I'm not saying Jaw is anywhere near that level because personally, I don't know if I'm really willing to give him that title yet because he's definitely on the precipice of it. But Paul George went to Game 7 twice, pretty much with the Heatles. Put not a bunch of bums, but quite a decent bit of bums. I mean, he got Roy Hibbert paid, and I think it's just kind of it's not a direct parallel, but it's sort of you see the kind of inklings of new kid on the block, young budding team starting to pick up a little steam and get kind of knocked down by like the head honcho of that time. But obviously the Warriors aren't getting any younger. Well, actually, that's false. But the key guys are starting to age out a bit, and you're starting to see this next generation come up, and I think this can grow. Again, I don't think it's necessarily at that level of like a supreme rivalry, but based on sort of how we're projecting the future of these two, I think it has that potential to potentially be in that type of conversation. I don't know. But yeah, that's just a little food for thought, I guess. Okay, heading from there though. So as I said earlier, we're kind of in the awkward stage of the off season. Most of the people have signed. DeJounte Murray's been traded. We're kind of at the point where whoever's left in free agency isn't necessarily going to be your go-to guy. He's not going to be your first to third option. This is mainly going to be guys that are helping with backup roles, which isn't necessarily a bad thing because, if there's anything any championship team has exhibited, is that there's a lot of depth on those teams. I mean, I can't think of any other team that played less than like a 7 to 8 man rotation for the finals. But yeah, so I'm gonna list off some of like now granted this isn't my opinion, I kind of just googled top free agents. Well, some of them I definitely agree with, but for those listening, if you are kind of I don't really know if this guy is really a top free agent, this is what Google told me. All right, so I'll just throw it out and you guys tell me who you guys think they should go to. Let's start off with the veterans, yeah. LaMarcus Aldridge, coming off of I think a roller coaster would be the lightest way of putting it. His time with the Nets has been one filled with like a bunch of hardship, whether it be the first round sweep or the fact that he retired for a bit and came back. LaMarcus Aldridge, where do you guys think he should sign? Or, even if you want to be on that boat, he should retire. I don't know. But yeah, where do you guys think the man should go?
Go ahead, Christian.
Oh, honestly, I just think about my team first. Well, not even because like I love my team. I honestly love the Marcus Aldridge as a player, but I think the Celtics, with their kind of big man rotation, I mean they do have like a quite an older squad when it comes to certain positions, but I think they could definitely use the depth that he could provide in like a on a second rotation. Because he's still like a very like in terms of offensive IQ, he's a high IQ player. He'd definitely do well coming off the bench on the Celtics. I think, yeah.
Respect. What about you, Rube?
I don't know. I just don't see it. Like I'm off the top of my head. I don't know if there's a roster fit for him. Because Chin made a good point, but also I really like that big rotation that they already have. You already have that veteran pig and Al Horford. The one team that I was gonna say actually, DJ, was Milwaukee, considering their struggles with big men over the last 2 years and health. But I don't know if LaMarcus Aldridge is even that much of an upgrade if you're talking about health wise. Like he hasn't really been. Well, I mean, he missed pretty much. He retired and then came back from retirement, right, because of his heart issue. So yeah, I don't know if there's yeah, I don't know if there's a spot for him in the league. They at least right now, I would have said Milwaukee, um, because he is a stretch big now, and I think that's what they really need. But off the top of my head, I don't think there's a spot.
I wouldn't mind him in Milwaukee. I think, yeah, when it comes to looking at the roster how it is now, I don't think it's necessarily that you need hard rotation guys. I think it's that you necessarily need depth, and you could definitely provide that. The one team I'm thinking, when we think about how stressful being an NBA player can be, whether you're a starter or role player, there aren't a lot of ways you can say you're relaxed in the league unless, your Bo Cruz averaging, 5 daps a game, 2 waters handed out, and all that. Nah, but I like LaMarcus Aldridge as Joel Embiid's backup. Joel Embiid's obviously gonna like take up a lot of those minutes. Upwards of like 34 to 38 minutes a game. So when you're looking at the Sixers roster, I think their backup right now is technically Paul Reed. And although I think Paul Reed definitely showed some flashes of being the potential to get into the rotation, I still think that if you're the 76ers, you don't necessarily have the luxury of hinging your bets on a young guy, unless it's like a Tyrese Maxey and they take that massive jump. With LaMarcus Aldridge, you're not asking him to play upwards of 20 minutes a game. Let him get his 18 minutes a game, provide some solid backup minutes. And I was looking at his stats earlier. I thought, because, one guy I was potentially putting on this list for us to talk about was like Paul Millsap. But looking at what he did last year, he was, for lack of a better word, he was kind of cooked. But LaMarcus Aldridge, I think in the games that he did play, which obviously wasn't a huge sample size, but I think it was still substantial enough to say that I think he has the potential, not necessarily the potential because, he's kind of past using that word to him, but he has the makings to, I think, be a super solid big off your bench, provide a little bit of support for Joel Embiid, who doesn't necessarily need a massive amount of it to begin with. And just inserting him into that, I think that could be nice. But okay.
Yeah, I think he can still be a contributor at 10 to 15 minutes a game.
Yeah.
You know?
I think he's at end of the rotation, end of the other rotation, but still like a massive part of the team because whether it be being able to stretch the floor
or in the locker room or something.
Yeah,
like that.
definitely. Being that veteran, which I think a lot of teams are lacking nowadays. LaMarcus Aldridge, when it comes to the short list of players I want to win a chip, he's definitely on that.
Yeah.
But all right, next one up. Let's talk about this guy. So last year, this man signed with the Lakers, tried to be about chasing the ring, and we all know how that turned out. It's unarguably one of the greatest scorers to ever touch the hardwood, Carmelo Anthony. Were y'all thinking he should, or maybe he will land? Because personally, I don't know if any of y'all were going to say this, but I don't think he's going back to LA. And I don't think he should. All right, I guess I'll go first. So, when I was thinking of it, I think Melo's in the similar situation as LaMarcus Aldridge in that he's not necessarily going to give you like 20, 25 minutes a night kind of thing. He was kind of like that a bit with the Lakers, but I think he's most effective in not necessarily limited run, but obviously not upwards of the 20-minute mark. And I think he's heading into his age 37 season, but Melo's obviously still a massive bucket. And for that reason, I think he should go back home. Put him on that Denver's Nuggets team. He'd be the backup to Michael Porter Jr. Because Peyton Watson's all cool and all that, but I think he's still like very raw to throw into the fire, throw into the rotation. But let him be the backup to Michael Porter Jr. Get that rejuvenation of being back in the Mile High City, back where you started, being able to get your number back. Because I don't think there's anybody wearing 15 right. Even then, there's no way they're not going to let Melo take his number back. But Carmelo Anthony, the king returned back to the Believe land. Why can't Melo bring back the hoodie in the Mile High City? That's where I think he should go.
I wouldn't. You know what? I actually like him on Denver. That's actually a pretty good idea.
Right?
That's actually a pretty good idea. The other team that I was gonna say was Dallas. I really like him on Dallas
Yeah.
because, his ability to stretch the floor, he just needs to be an optimal shooter. He doesn't need to have the ball in his hand as much as he used to now. Um, but he can still obviously get his buckets in the mid range. And I think what they lacked at certain moments last year was, they had a bunch of guys that could create from the perimeter, and this team was really good at spacing the floor. But they didn't have that in between guy, right? Other than Luca. And, when they close the paint on Luca and when they close the gaps on Luca, it closes a lot more opportunity for the rest of the team. So if you have a secondary guy like Carmelo, and he's not going to go in there and score 20 points like he used to, but if you just have that mid range threat, somebody who's able to get a basket, who's a threat in between, and obviously can spread the floor, get the buckets inside, rebound the basketball a little bit still. I think he played really well last year too for the Lakers.
For sure.
I think that he had a lot of his moments. And he was relied upon to play a bigger role when that he should have. And I think a team like Dallas is where he can have Dallas and Denver. I think both are alike, where you can plug him in similar to LaMarcus Aldridge's role. 10 to 18 minutes, whatever it is, but you just have somebody who's out an offensive threat outside of the guys bringing up the ball, and that's really important that you can dump that down low and the guy can get you a bucket, the in between, and that makes a big difference against defenses. So I think that's what they were missing last year. I don't know if that's a piece I would say Carmelo Anthony takes them over the top against the Warriors in the Western Conference Finals, but it's a nice piece to have, to your depth chart for sure.
No doubt. And I like the narrative too, because obviously we all know what happened in Houston, or what didn't happen in Houston, I guess is a better way of putting it. I think him, not necessarily reclaiming his name, because actually, yeah, in a sense, because that was the whole, not really him getting blacklisted, or yeah, he kind of got blacklisted, but yeah, I think the idea of him going back to the state where they kind of ruined his career for a bit, let him tear it up in there. I think that's nice. And Chin, where do you think Melo should go?
No, I agree. I think the only thing I would add, like, as another possibility, would him, like, I don't know. I have this kind of thing with like seeing older players go to teams that like use kind of a good locker room role model. I think about like young teams in the league, and I think the team that kind of stuck out to me is probably the Hornets. I think
Jordan Brand too.
Yeah, like
True.
I don't know. I do think there is like a sort of thing that the Hornets may be missing, and obviously I think a lot of it has to do with the age of the group itself. And I think they could use someone who has like true veteran experience to kind of pave the way for them a little bit in terms of kind of creating an identity in the team. Maybe not, creating an identity that revolves around Melo's game, because that they're just gonna get worse. But
I like the idea of that. I think the only kind of pushback I would have on that is that
What's
while
wrong, man?
while veterans are amazing to have, I think Melo, I don't want to say he's too good, because that sounds kind of elitist in a sense, but I think there are other options in terms of a veteran you could get. But I think him being on that team, if he just wants to get buckets, I think that's one of the places for him to go for sure. But if he wants to win the ring, yeah, that's a whole nother conversation. But I like the idea of that for sure. Okay, heading from there, let's talk about Montrezl Harrell. Obviously, what's happening with that thing is whatever's happening, but assuming he does play basketball this upcoming season, where do you guys like him?
This is an interesting one because now I'm trying to think about teams that need an optimal scoring big. And my first thought was Clippers, but they can't afford him. Unless because obviously his name's a little bit tainted in the league right now. Could he be had at a much lower price? Like, is he signing an MLE or is he signing a minimum? Like, there's clearly no market for the guy right now. And you could probably say the same thing about Mr. Miles Bridges. But for Montrezl Harrell, like a team, personally for me, I don't know if I'd want to see him on a roster right now. But yeah, the Clippers stuck out to me as one. The Lakers, another one as well. I think that makes sense for them. But they need more defense. But I think like if you can get a Montrezl Harrell anytime, that's a benefit to your team. For me, it's hard to look at these guys individually because we look at these remaining free agents, right? And my biggest thing is why are they still in the market? And most of the time is because there isn't a spot for them right now, and or there really is no market. So we look at guys like Montrezl Harrell, like LaMarcus Aldridge. There's a reason why these guys are still kind of remaining free agents as they are. So it's hard for me to pinpoint like a specific team, but for a guy like Montrezl Harrell, it's a team that severely lacks a lot of scoring or lacks any punch or any talent, overall talent. So I was even thinking Sacramento, a team like Sacramento, because that's a team that's trying to compete for a playoff spot, right? And they feel like they've gone fully. They traded Tyrese Halliburton, which we all thought was a stupid decision, and then they decided to take on and go fully invest in, signing Malik Monk. They've got their two-headed dragon and Fox and the big boy Sabonis. You might as well try to invest in as much talent as possible. So a team like Sacramento, I feel like, would be a beneficiary both to Montrezl Harrell because this is a good starting point for him again to kind of, you know, revive his image a little bit or whatever else is going on with his situation, and or for Sacramento to get back into winning ways, and then, just that injection of talent should be able to help them. Now will over like does it match what they want to do long term, like in terms of their game style, their gameplay. Like he's not a defensive player, but it looks like their team is going to be focused a lot on the offensive end between Sabonis and Fox. So you have an optimal scoring big like Montrezl Harrell who averages like 17 and 8 on a game and has been a sixth man candidate. That's a guy you want off your bench if you want to be a successful team, and you do need depth in the regular season for you to be a winning team. So, um, I would say Sacramento is a good team for him
I
if they
like
can
that.
afford him.
I like that. What about you, Jen?
If I'm being honest, I actually don't know what happened with him. I'm like listening to you
It was
guys. I was
a
trying to search it up. My
it's a weed charge, wasn't it?
Was it
recharge.
that?
I
Yeah, I think it was. There was a there's a we charge. I think.
and it wasn't even like a little bit. I heard it was like massive amount, but yeah, I
Yeah,
don't know.
he only charged for
Uh,
marijuana. He was like, yeah, it's a lot.
okay. I feel like the way I was taking it in, I thought it was another Miles Bridges type beat, and I was like, all right, well, I don't want this guy anywhere either. But no, I mean, okay, I'm not be saying I'm an advocate for pushing drugs or whatever, but
Right.
I mean, it's just lifestyle stuff, and anyways, no, I kind of get the idea that like maybe he does need to like not be on a roster right now. Um, but I think I double down on what Ruben said. I think he would fit really great in Sacramento,
And
or
it's California, so you know how they play about that.
yeah, I mean, yeah, I maybe he'll be welcome to the culture, but no, I think he really definitely needs to be on a team that could use like a supporting six-man role, big like how he kind of played. Was it originally with the Clippers too, right? When he
Yeah, he
was
won
there,
Six Man of the Year a couple years ago with them.
yeah. When him and Lou Will were kind of coming off that rotation, I think he's like still like one of the better, stronger rotational players. But yeah,
Yeah, that was a fun team. Uh, for me, I don't know if they can really afford him, but I like the idea of him on the Mavs. Now, obviously, the Mavs will kind of
Yeah.
hung their hat on a bit of the defensive end recently, but when you look at their team, it's a lot of what can these players do for Luca in a sense, and not that Montrezl Harrell won't be able to do anything, but what they are lacking, I think, is guys who can. This sounds kind of counterintuitive, but play out of the system in a sense, you know, because as much as teams can prepare for whatever situation is thrown at them, at the end of the day, rest in peace to Bill Russell. He said it best. This game has always been and always will be about getting buckets, and Montrezl Harrell, when it comes to anything within the paint, I think can definitely provide that with for you. And when you look at kind of the big rotation for the Mavs, I would consider that Christian Wood's probably going to play more of the four there, just given he's like 220, 230 or something. He doesn't really have the size to play at center. And I think Montrezl Harrell sounding pretty tasty off that bench, but I'm not entirely sure if they can really afford him, but if it is, it would be dope. Now, speaking of one guy that not necessarily fumbled the bag actually yet. Well, it's Dennis Schroeder. You know, Dennis Schroeder could have signed, I think it was what, upwards in like 80, 90 mils. That happened. Everybody, clowned him. He took his licking, but where do you guys think Dennis Schroeder could end up? Because I mean, he's still 28, so he's right in the prime of his career. Obviously, had a bit of the year with the Lakers was kind of a wash, and this little back and forth year this year with the Celtics, I think, and the Rockets. But yeah, do you guys think there's a spot for Dennis Schroeder anywhere in the league?
You know, where I'd like to see him. I would like to see him shore up the backcourt in Atlanta. I would like to see him back in a Hawks jersey. I like DeJounte and Trae Young, and I know that they have Aaron Holiday there now, but I do like the idea of Dennis Schroeder in there as their backup and as their veteran point guard because, man, if you have a really surefire rotation in your backcourt, and you have a 3 guard combo between DeJounte, Trae Young, and Dennis Schroeder, most oftentimes your backcourt is so important to your success in terms of your game planning and having a coach on the floor. And Dennis Schroeder is not a bad player. The reason why is obviously that it's hard to have a market for him when a lot of these teams have really good backcourts already, and he's going to demand a price much more than unfortunately there's a market available for him. But if he's willing to take another minimum or much less money than he could have, that he fumbled with LA, yeah, I'd like to see him in Atlanta. If I'm being completely unbiased, I think that really solidifies what the rotation is in the backcourt.
I like that. That's a damn good pick. What about you, Chin? What you thinking?
Man, Ruben is really coming with these picks.
Yeah, that's.
I think if I were Dennis Schroeder, I would want to, I do agree. He's still in the prime of his career. He's actually honestly a very talented point guard that has kind of just been misused and mistreated by a really shitty LA organization. I think he could kind of thrive in Santa.
Oh, is he freezing for you, Ruben?
Yeah, he is.
Oh, I think it was saying San Antonio.
San Antonio,
Yeah.
veteran presence. I mean, that would actually be a good place if he were to revive his career.
Yeah. I guess we'll wait for him to come back. Oh,
Yo, just crashed out of nowhere. He's here. He's back.
All right, my bad.
all good, yo.
You guys hear what team I said?
San Antonio, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
San Antonio.
Yeah, I think if I were Dennis Schroeder, I'd want to raise my stock a bit again. I think he definitely could get so much PT, even if it's off the bench, with that rotation, very bare bones rotation. And I think San Antonio, I assume they got the money to take on just any contract right now. And I mean, I feel given that he's not I feel guard rotations are almost heavy everywhere around the league. I think he could fall into a team that is pretty much just rebuilding and find himself on a contending team as a 6-man again somewhere down the line.
That is a great pick. I just have to piggyback off that. It's a great pick because San Antonio is not a good enough team to win anything right now. They've got cap space. They can sign Dennis Schroeder. He's going to get a lot of playing time. He can rebuild his value, like you said, while they tank for Victor Wembanyama. So, I mean, it's just I feel like that's a match made in heaven there. And Popovich has done a lot to recreate and reframe guys' careers or value, right? You look at a guy like DeMar who's traded away, and then He helped the guys kind of evolve their games and find their niche in the league again. So
Yeah,
For sure.
Jonathan Simmons looking like a complete clamper. Yeah, y'all you remember that man?
and then he got traded, and then he looked like absolute garbage.
Did he get
Like,
traded? I thought he got paid from
he got
Orlando.
paid by Orlando.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I don't know where he went after that. So I mean, but he's done it for so like you look back at the years like Steven Jackson, Richard Jefferson, right? You know, all these different players that have come through. Boris Diaw. Like you could talk about a lot of big names
Boris
have come to the
Diaw.
organization, and then they end up being great role players down the line. I mean, it's a good pick.
I like
Shooter
that.
is something that should have a market available, but
Hundred
you know,
percent. I like this. I like Dennis Schroeder. This is gonna be the first one where we all kind of have differing opinions. I like him on Minnesota. When you look at the second unit that team's gonna be running right now, it's
pick two.
very relaxed to say the least. I think the main people they're gonna have to bench is Kyle Anderson, whom I love, Torian Prince, who's cool, and I think that means Jalen McDaniels is gonna start. So that's kind of a here nor there. Nas Reed, who I think is a super nice backup, who in my opinion, I think he could be starting, but obviously you trade for Rudy, that's not going to happen. But what the team lacks, I think, is another guy who can handle the ball and not only create for himself but for others when the starting five's off the bench. Throw Dennis Schroeder in there. He's not only one going to be effective, but number two, he's going to be in his element. He's going to be where he's most accustomed to. And I think that's the thing in the league that a lot of guys have a lot of time struggling when it comes to finding that. It's your role. Because, obviously everybody that's ever been in the NBA was the guy that was dropping 50 bombs in high school and had the entire offense play through him. And once you get to the league, ain't shit sweet sometimes. And you throw Dennis Schroeder onto a team that is very interesting. I don't think any of us want to label them as contenders yet, but when you look at the talent that's on there, I don't think they're very far from that needle being moved to that position. And when you add a guy like Dennis Schroeder to really anchor your backcourt for the second unit, helps push it a little bit further down the line, in my opinion. But yeah,
Yeah.
this was good. This is the first one we had like all three differing opinions. And last but not least, this guy currently has the qualifying offer. So as it is right now, he's still probably going to go to the Cavaliers if there's no market for him. You guys know what I'm talking about. It's the better half of Sexland, Colin Sexton. Where do y'all think? But so rather than saying like you guys think he's going to stay in Cleveland, let's say if he were to go somewhere else, where do y'all think he would go? Even though I think we're all in agreement that he's probably going to be a Cavalier this year, but think it's on the box a bit.
I'm gonna reuse my answer from the last one. I I personally think like he's also the type of player who is coming off a pretty bad injury, and it's kind of unfortunate thing around the league where when players do get injured, even not severely, honestly, that their value drops drastically just because of the risk factor. But I think he's obviously gonna come back and still be a performer. And I could see him like doing the same thing in uh, in San Antonio, but at a bigger catastrophic level. And then in the craziest grand scheme of things, he could be like in the best scenario, like a max contract player possibly. Because he's really got that talent. Cleveland is like a pretty crowded team in terms of talent, and I mean, yeah, I do think he's going to go back there, but in a perfect scenario, he could definitely like make his way up. I mean, Darius Garland did it when he kind of disappeared, or when Sexton disappeared. So I don't know. That's where I like project Colin Sexton in my mind. He's had really big glimpses of being a really great player in the league.
Respect. I like that. Rube?
Yep. I'm gonna throw out every guideline, every cap space, and I just said, here's a team that should be expressing interest. And it'll probably be by sign. I think technically it's only allowed sign and trade at this point,
I think so,
if
yeah.
I'm not mistaken, because he's a restricted free agent, and then obviously it's a qualifying offer. But if there's a team that were to throw an offer sheet at him, and or sign and trade, I think one team that I really like is the Washington Wizards. Right? They don't have a point guard. Right? They don't have a point guard. I know they just acquired Monte Morris. They picked up DeLon Wright, but um I like Colin Sexton's fit beside Bradley Beal, and we've seen over time Bradley Beal's most successful seasons have always been with the ultra athletic point guard who can do multiple things on the floor and defend at both sides. And I like Colin Sexton's ability there, and he's a younger player, right? He's someone that has got a little bit more umph in his game right now, and I think can support a Bradley Beal who is still obviously naively staying in Washington. But I think that's a really good partner for him. Colin Sexton is not a small guy; he's a 6'3" guard, defend multiple ends of the floor, multiple positions from the 1 to 3. He's an active guard. He can score the ball. He can drive to the rim. He can hit the three somewhat. Um, but I like his athleticism beside Bradley Beal. I just like the fact that a jack of all trades kind of guy beside has Bradley Beal, and then Bradley Beal's had his best seasons with Russell Westbrook and John Wall. So I mean, I think I'd like to see that combo kind of thing, continue on for both of their careers. And I think the Washington Wizards provide him with the open available opportunity that he doesn't have in Cleveland.
Respect. That's another good pick. Yeah, those another two solid picks. And again, maybe it's only when it comes to when we're talking about guards where we're on different pages. But for me, I want to see Colin Sexton as a Dallas Maverick. Now, obviously, I don't think that's going to work cap wise, but you know that's beside the point. Who does Luca play best alongside? Jalen Brunson. What is Jalen Brunson? 6'1" guard. What is Colin Sexton? A 6'1" guard. Now, obviously, that's
guard? Is he 6'1"?
that's what he's listed in 2K. I'm going up, even though he's probably like Fred.
He's bigger than that.
He's Colin Sexton?
Yeah, I think he's bigger than that.
How
I
big?
think he's 6'2", 6'3". 6'2".
If he's 6'2", 6'3", that's even better. But
There's no way 6'1". He's bigger than
He's
Lowry.
bigger where it matters. He's bigger where it matters.
that's true.
He's got third leg.
No, Colin Sex. Y'all, come on now, y'all. Put some respect on Sexland, the better half of it. What is this? This man's literally, I think his nickname's Pitbull or whatever, but Colin Sexton alongside Luka Doncic has the upside to potentially be better from a scoring aspect compared to, him and Jalen Brunson. Colin Sexton. I think, do you guys remember that one game? This was when Cleveland was so down bad. This was, I believe, Darius Garland. He might have been asked during that game, but what did Colin Sexton do? He put the fucking backpack on and torched. I think, okay, we talked about this early in like way one of the pods back, but with the Nets record of how good they were and when the big three was on the floor, one of those losses is because of the fucking bag work Colin Sexton put on in front of them. You put that alongside Luka Doncic, whew, that's cookies. But no, in all honesty, if Colin Sexton were to kind of take one of those more team friendly deals, I think the Mavs are one of the teams that should definitely hop on it. Is he going to take it? Probably not. But from what's the word? The optimistic side of me, the optimistic basketball fan that wants to see Colin Sexton get his buckets, not necessarily his money, but you can do both at the end of the day. You put him on that team. We always talk a lot about the gravity players are able to generate. Steph Curry, we've seen parts where all 5 men are on him. Pause. Giannis Antetokounmpo, we've seen parts where all 5 men are on him. Luka Doncic has that similar gravity towards him, and whenever that happens, a lot of the floor opens up a lot more for other guys. Colin Sexton's never experienced that. So when you put him in a more open space, allow him to create his own shot, and just overall, again, when you have players generating their energy towards one more player rather than kind of spreading it out, that shit gonna collapse. And I think you put Colin Sexton in that situation, looking very nice. Only reason I wouldn't want it though is because Jaden Hardy is one of my favorite rookies, and That would kind of take his role. But yeah, so obviously there's a lot more free agents we could talk about, but let's get into the exciting part of the pod. Not that the stuff we're talking about right now isn't exciting because, you know, shit's always exciting when you hang with the Blacktop Pod, baby. But
Backshots podcast.
Backshots Podcast, baby.
Oh, keep that in. Keep that in.
100% that's staying
Keep
in.
that in. That's what she said. Yes, sir.
Holy Angelina Jolie. Oh
Jolie.
my goodness. Okay. So
Big boy.
that's for all like the BC peeps. Anyways,
So the Vancouverites.
undies. We got another draft to do. This one's going to be a lot of fun, I think. When it comes to the NBA, few things are more exciting than the young players that are coming up. Obviously, you got the likes of Luka Doncic, Trae Young, John Morant, Jason Tatum, Zion Williamson when he's back healthy. These are the guys that really are ushering forth this new generation, are showing that the league's going to be in good hands. So with that being said, the Black Shops, the Blacktop Podcast presents the under 25 draft. So how this is going to work, we already spun for the order off camera, and yeah, so as you guys can see, here's a little stopwatch here. If you're watching the video version, if you listen to the audio, just use your imagination. Each of us will have a minute to make our picks, and we're doing a full 10-man rotation. It's divided between guards, wings, and bigs, but honestly, y'all can do what you want. And yeah, so the draft order itself is going to be Ruben with the first pick, me with the second pick, and Christian with the third pick. And we're doing a snake style, so that means you have the first pick in the first round, you're going to have the last pick in the second round, and vice versa, and so on and so forth. With that being said, boys, are y'all ready to get this thing going?
Big Luka Doncic.
Yeah, a little not necessarily backstory, but I'm pretty sure there's no way on God's green earth that Luka Doncic is not the first pick. So obviously Ruben's gonna pick that. We're not even really gonna be super dependent on this clock, I don't think. But yeah, with the second pick, I am going to go with
I'm dead. All right.
give me Jason Tatum. You know, obviously
Nice.
his stock might be a little low because of the finals, but still a very solid guy and to build my team around. Christian, you got up.
All right. Since I have 2 picks in a row, the third pick will be Zion Williamson.
Nice.
Respect.
I mean, this guy, there's not much to say about him. Played 85 games in the league. So, you know, he's a well-seasoned player. No, but the jokes aside, he's a dominant force, no question about it. And with my second pick, oh man, this is tough. I am going to have to take. Sorry, didn't really think about. I thought I was gonna get Tatum. Not gonna lie. I'm gonna take John Morant. I don't really want him on my team, but he's inexplicably probably the fourth in the top 4 players on this list.
John Morant.
You don't want the Twitter goat. No, but,
Oh, the Twitter goes Kevin Durant, man. Come on now.
oh, okay, yeah, no, my bad. Sorry, Katie. Don't be coming for my neck. That's true. Then he's like the Twitter LeBron, second. Anyways, with my second pick, obviously, if you're watching let me full screen this. Okay, there we go. Obviously, when you're looking at this list, there's a somewhat of a lack in the bigs department. So with that being said, I don't know about y'all, but I love the ability to switch. So with that being said, give me Evan Mobley.
Nice pick.
Thank you. Ruben, you're on the clock. And
All right, so I've got 2 in a row here.
oh yeah.
So I'm taking Trae Young. I got Mr. Trae Young. So the debate does not sit with my team. I've got the 2 guys that were traded for each other, Luka Doncic and Trae Young. And I'm going Brandon Ingram.
Ooh, okay. I like that. Very nice. Very nice. Okay. For me, let's see here. Looking at this list, I got Jason Tatum and Evan Mobley. What more could anybody want? You know what I want? I want Scotty Barnes. Give me Ruben's golden boy.
Mother, I
Give me
didn't think you
Ruben's
were
golden boy. Scotty's right on my point. But all right, Christian, 2 back to back. Go ahead.
All right. So with my third pick, I'm going to take Jared Allen. I think personally, I thought DJ was smoking crack when he chose Evan Mobley over Jared Allen. I just think Jared Allen, probably in my opinion, all things considered, I think he's definitely in contention for the best defensive center in the league. I think he's the better half of the duo up front in the Cavs, but Evan Mobley's cool too.
Are we
and
just gonna act like Rudy Gobert doesn't exist?
I mean, Rudy Gobert, I'm not shitting on him or anything. Like, I mean, in terms of accolades, sure, but I don't ride with him. Let's just say that. Fuck, man, you guys fucked up my team. I had like a list ready.
I can't believe you thought you were gonna get Jason Tatum in the second round, yo.
Okay.
That's criminal, bro.
I mean, I don't know. He could have thought that freaking Trae Young was better. Who knows?
I thought you were honestly, like, I had a feeling you might pick Job, but I didn't know.
You know what? Job would have been a good second pick too, though.
Yeah, that's true.
With my second pick, though, I'm gonna choose, or sorry, not my second pick, but my second pick in this round, or going into the next round. Sorry, I'm gonna pick Anthony Edwards.
You son of a gun.
That's a good pick.
The baby goat.
Yo, have y'all ever watched him play Madden against the Madden God? Y'all gotta watch that. Y'all gotta watch that.
Yo, he's actually hilarious. Oh, dude, that's one of the funniest videos of all time. Yo, he's just
my goodness.
He's giving the business. Oh my god.
Y'all thought Kermit Washington? I think that's the last name of the movie. Y'all think Kermit was talking that shit? Nah, y'all gotta watch him play play Madden. Okay. From one bucket to another bucket, I need a solid 2. So for that reason, give me, if he were to retire today, I think he's the second greatest Canadian of all time, low key. Give me SGA, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander.
Son of a. Boys are just wiping my picks off the floor right now.
All right, Ruben, tell me why you're picking Malachi Flynn.
You guys hear anything? Or
you don't want the Toronto Savior? The man who dropped, I think, 53 points in a Pro AM, because we can take that and project that to the league?
Man, get that on my face. All right, I'm going to select LaMelo Ball.
Fuck you, man. Sorry. Literally my next pick.
Yo, that's a nice... Yo, I'm going to run Trae Young, Luka Doncic, and LaMelo Ball as my 1, 2, 3. And then my next and final, well, at least the second pick for this round. I was gonna go controversial, but I won't, and I'll stay with a safe pick. I'll stick with DeAndre Ayton.
I like that.
All right, so
hold up.
Oh, this is your pick, DJ?
Yeah, it is mine.
My bad.
This boy was like, "Man, you about to take my pick."
Man, looking at everybody that's available, there's one guy on here that nobody on this entire draft board can really take a claim to, and that's the fact that he has a whole song named after him. So for that reason, I got holes. Calling. Give me Mo Bamba, man.
I got holes.
Give me Mr. Fuck Shit Bitch. All right, Chin, go ahead.
All right, I got 2 picks, right?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna be that bitch, personally, because I think the guards on this list are like ridiculously good. So I'm gonna take 2 guards with my next 2 pick. They'll be taking DeJounte Murray and De'Aaron Fox.
I forgot
DeJounte Murray is 25, I'm pretty sure.
I thought you. Oh, is he not on this list? Oh, my
I
bad.
don't think. Yeah.
I
Sorry,
got him
bro.
on the first. Okay, fuck. Keep the clock going. I gotta make the change.
Christian thought he hit a lick.
My bad.
That's cool.
All right. Instead, then I'm gonna still take De'Aaron Fox. I mean, without question, and then I'm gonna have to also take. Has anyone taken Robert Williams III?
They have not.
All right, I'm taking.
Fuck, I wanted Time Lord. I like that. I respect that. Okay. When I look at my team, you know, I've got a whole starting five here. You know, when I'm thinking about Ruben's team, we're just switching on to Trae Young and we're cooking that motherfucker all day long, So
I mean, that's fine. I got DeAndre Ayton in the back line.
The fuck DeAndre Ayton go do?
I got DeAndre Ayton in the back line, baby.
DeAndre Ayton got 150 M's, averaging 15 and 11.
That's all right. That's all right. You're gonna switch on him, but then coming right back down, we're gonna give the ball to Bi. Nothing there. Give it to Doncic. Nothing there. Get a Trey. Nothing there. LaMelo Ball. Download DeAndre Ayton. Can't stop us. Can't stop what you can't see, because they already passed you. Yes, sir.
What?
What did you say, motherfucker?
I don't even know the fuck you were
What
saying.
did you say?
What did you say? Okay. Okay. For my pick, I'm going to go with a guy that if he played the whole season, it's big argument that he could have been Rookie of the Year. Give me Cade Cunningham.
Jalen Green. I heard.
I love my Filipinos, but I need a guy that's not going to chuck up 20 shots and make 5 of them. As much as I love Jalen Green. But all right, Christian, right? Yeah, because Ruben picked. Oh, the Ruben? My bad.
Damn, brother. All right. So I'm taking Melton. I'm just kidding. I've got, wow, this is getting to the money team area now. But you know what? I need some wings. So I'm going to take the Canadian boy, RJ Barrett.
I like that.
I think he's going to have a breakout year, by the way.
I do think so as well, honestly.
I think he's going to have a huge year. He's going to play with Brunson. Brunson's going to be really beneficial to him. And then I think, wow, this is a really nice list of players.
Come on, Ruben.
I'm going to stick with the big because I don't want you guys taking all the good bigs because there aren't very many on here. So I'm going to go with John Collins.
Nice.
Respect. Okay. For me, I don't really see too many holes in my team. You know, we got the playmaking, we got the shooting, we got the ISO scoring, we got the rim protection with Mo Bamba. So let's add on to that. Give me Defensive Player of the Year finalist. This is a world where they're fully healthy, so he's not going to play 2 games, but give me Jaren Jackson Jr.
Damn.
Dude, good pick.
You guys picked my next 2 picks.
So I heard you're going to take Obi Toppin and Rui Hachimura.
Nah. Christian wants him some Alperen Şengün.
Oh, okay, true. I heard you're taking Emmanuel quickly, DJ.
Of course.
I heard that's what I heard.
I got like a small collection of quickly rookie cards. So when he wins 5-6 Man of the Year awards, cha-ching, baby.
Seventh man year. 7th man of the year.
Has anyone picked Darius Garland? I don't think so, right?
No, he's yours if you want.
Man, the disrespect. I mean,
oh man, there's one name we forgot on here too. But I'll tell it later.
Is it Victor Wembanyama?
Yeah, sure. Oh, never mind. I can't. Oh, never mind. I was gonna say OG Anunoby, but he just turned 25.
Yeah, there were like a bunch of guys I was looking like.
He just turned 25 this summer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Darius Garland.
Okay, who's your next pick?
And then with my next pick, I probably need a wing. I don't really have a true wing. I'm gonna take someone I think is super solid. Gonna take Kelvin Johnson.
Oh, Hey, if we're talking guys who are gonna take a big jump, Keldon Johnson's gonna he's
Yes,
gonna
sir.
average like 22 points when the Spurs go like 7-59.
I'll
That
get
doesn't
some
even
buckets
equal 82, but
here.
that's just the record of little trivia fact: the worst win percentage in NBA history with the Charlotte Bobcats. And when I look at guys who are going to take that big step next year, there's this one guy I'm really holding a lot of faith on to. And for that reason, give me Franz Wagner. Franz Wagner,
Sucker.
Franz Wagner is a dog, yo. Franz Wagner had
He had a
like
hell of a year,
the
hey.
most
He had a hell of
points.
a rookie year.
Hell yeah. I think he, not that he was disrespect or anything, but
He flew under
you
the radar
know,
because Magic suck.
yeah, true. But
But
his
he's freaking
ability
good.
to like be a part of the positionless basketball, create his own shot. He's got underrated playmaking, in my opinion. Defends the ball decent for being a rookie. But yeah, Franz Wagner,
He's a good
Rubes,
player, man.
undies,
He's really good. He definitely should have been more in the rookie of the year conversation more than
hundred
people thought
percent,
of.
100%. But Rube, over to you. How many you have now, Rube? Is this 8 and
I
9?
got 7, so I've got 2 picks, and then my last one. I'm at
Word.
the end.
Okay.
So see, this is where the money team happens. These are the money decisions. How can you fill your roster? So I like my collection of guards: Luca, Trey, Lamelo Ball. I think I've got the best guard rotation out here. I got
I don't
Brandon.
know about that, brother. Sorry.
Man, Luka Doncic, Trey Young, and Lamelo Ball. The hell are you talking about?
I mean, I got okay. No, we'll talk about this after.
I got
Oh,
okay. So I got Bi, RJ Barrett, DeAndre Ayton, John Collins. I've got a lot of names right now, but I need some dogs. I need some dogs, and so I'm gonna go left field here a little bit. I'm gonna go left field because I know on the court he's a major contributor and defensive and offensive minded player who contributed to a lot of winning. This rookie, Ayo, Ayo Dosunmu.
That's a good pick. I like Io. I
I said I was
respect
gonna go
that.
left field.
I respect
So
that.
because he can play multiple, at least he can play, two to three positions. He can guard 2 to 3 positions. So I like him at the wing if I needed to go extra small.
Mm.
And my next pick, this is a tough one. Actually, no, it's not that tough. I'm gonna go with Gary Trent Jr.
I like that. That's the homer pick. I respect that.
I go right with my guy Gary Trent Jr. And I think he had an awesome year last year, and I think he's gonna have a bigger year this year.
He's averaging 20 for sure, no doubt.
He's probably gonna average 20 this
No
year.
kizzy.
Maybe 3 steals. Like if he's a 20.3 steal player, dude.
He might low key garner some All-Star votes. I'm not gonna make it, but
He could. He's
20
not
and
gonna
3
make it, but he
steals,
could.
no doubt. Okay, for me, when I look at the team, I got a lot of bit of everything. Jason Tatum can play 1 to 4. Scotty Barnes can play 1 to 4, even some 5 if I really needed him to. But I got the size, so I don't really need that. So give me another 3 and D wing. This is a player that it's one of my personal favorite players in the NBA right now. He's a guy that has been the product of being in a shitty situation, but given how small the Knicks are going to be next year, I hope that gives him a chance to really cement his place. Cam Reddish. Give me Cam Reddish.
No comment.
Hey, Cam Reddish is that dude.
No comments.
Whatever, Ruben. I'm still going at Trey Young all game long.
No comments.
Whatever, bro.
Man, damn dog, yeah, different game year after Cam Reddish.
I don't get.
homie, Tyrese Halliburton's still on the board.
Hey,
Bro, that brother
hey,
is
you don't worry
crazy.
about that. You don't worry about that.
You got Jack Harlow's buddy.
All I see is Cam Reddish is a fucking dog, and I got that dog.
Yeah, dog in the bench.
Oh shit, that's good. I don't even know how to come back. Hey, it's only because it's Tom Thibodeau. put him on any other team. I'm not saying he's starting, but he's making an impact at the very least.
That brother wasn't impacting the 10th seed Atlanta Hawks either.
What? Actually, I will say this though.
He needs an opportunity, though. I do agree.
In Game 6, he was that fucking dude. What's the you guys know? You guys want to know something about Trae Young? You know, when it comes to the nitty gritty, when it comes to the big clutch moments, yeah, sure, you know, beat the Sixers or whatever. Fuck that. Where was he during Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals? Yeah, he was at a bum ass ankle. What happened in the first round this year? DeAndre Hunter was the best player on that fucking team, and that's why give me, you know, Cam Reddish. All right, are these your last two picks, Chin?
They are.
All
And
right.
I'm gonna round it out by kind of just picking players that fit into my remaining positions I need. So I'm gonna take Tyrese Halliburton.
Shit.
Nice.
And I am going to take Wendell Carter Jr. I think he is honestly, I think, one of the most underrated centers in the league right now. I mean, he's in a good position to honestly have a huge year. I think he's definitely on Obama's level too, to be honest. But yeah,
Respect. All right, Rube. This is your like last pick, right?
I think it's your pick.
Oh wait, no, yeah, because he is went back to back. Okay.
Yeah.
When I look at all this over here, you know, I got the scoring, I got the D from Cam Reddish. You know, y'all know Cam Reddish. There's anything about Cam Reddish. Hey, if there's anything you can say about Cam Reddish, you can't say he's a bad defender. That man got the clamps sometimes.
One thing you say about Cam Reddish is bring me my water. Oh yeah, you know that video where Kenny Smith or like with Chuck was like, I was like, when I see Bill Clinton, he say hi to me.
You know, he was about to like bring out like some super inspiration. You know, when me and Hakeem got to talking.
Like, hey, can you bring me some water?
Alright, this guy is definitely not going to be bringing any water unless it's with his jumper. Give me Desmond Bain. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. He took the pick that he's supposed to pick.
Hey. Desmond Bain's going to be my Kyle Korver. You know, I don't give a fuck if he go to the rim. He better spot out from the 3 first and then let that shit fly.
Nice. That's a good pick.
Man.
I'm good because you know better. Cam Reddish is garbage.
Cam Reddish is not garbage, bro. Cam Reddish is not garbage. I will not take that slander.
All right.
Cam Reddish is the Lonzo Ball of this draft. Put him in the right situation and he's gonna flourish.
That's a fair. Yeah, that's a fair comparison. Damn, I don't know who to take for my last pick.
Come on, man. It's Milwaukee's finest. You know you want to take Philly. You saw him go.
Omar, you're 7th.
He's not even on here.
Oh wait, he's on my personal draft board. You know,
Delano Banton.
If you want.
No, hell no, I'm not taking Delano Banton. But you know what? My team is going small, so I'm going to stick with my small ball because I think what my team does at that level is just as high as it comes. Between Luka, Trae, LaMelo, Ayo Dosunmu, I got a lot of ball handlers, got a lot of shot creators, guys can spread the floor, play fast in the fast break. I mean, I know what it's like to play on a team where there's like no 6-footers, but you can outrun anybody on the floor, and if you have good rotations, you can negate a lot of big players. So my final pick in this 2022 U-25 Back Shots Black Top Pod is Tyrese Maxey.
Really?
That's a good way to end off. Alrighty. Instead of kind of going off and like kind of figure out your lineups, let's do off the cuff. So how do you guys feel your team stacks up against everybody else's? Before that though, let's just go list off our teams real quick. I think let's go in the order of what we drafted. So Ruben, run your team off for us, bro.
So I've got Luka Doncic, Trae Young, LaMelo Ball, Ayo Dosunmu, Tyrese Maxey, Gary Trent Jr., RJ Barrett, Brandon Ingram, John Collins, and DeAndre Ayton.
Respect. Now, Ruben, give us a little overview of how you think your team stacks up against everybody.
I like my team because I've fully invested in small ball and I know that it works. Because when you have the best of the best who can perform at the positions that they can, you have the best of the best ball handlers, at least at the U-25. Luka Doncic is, the best in class out of, the players at this moment. You add that with Trey Young, LaMelo Ball, Tyrese Maxey, just some guys that can, go up and down the floor, can create shots. And I like that paired with, you know, lengthy shot creation between RJ Barrett and Brandon Ingram. Gary Trent Jr. is a bucket on fire most of the time. I like John Collins and his ability to run up and down the floor. He's got a lot of length on the defensive end as well. And then DeAndre Ayton, I just like that he can anchor my inside and we can throw it down low. Really finesse inside post movements. He's got the nice mid range jumper. So pretty much this team can play very perimeter oriented. I can play, if I wanted to match up big, I can go big, but I'm going to stick with the small ball and go with multiple guards on the floor at one time. And I think when you have really strong backcourt play, more often than not, you're going to win a lot of games. And I got the best player out of the U-25, so I'll take my chances, Luka Doncic.
I respect that. Okay, heading over to me. So, I got Cade Cunningham, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Jason Tatum, Scotty Barnes, Desmond Bane, Cam Reddish, Franz Wagner, Evan Mobley, Triple J, and Mo Bamba. Now, when I think about this team, we have the ability to play a bunch of different kind of forms of basketball. We could play the small ball shit, sure. Scotty run point center, and go to work. We can run conventional. We got Evan Mobley, Trey J. He can't grab a rebound to save his life, but at 6'11", he's gonna slot into center for me. Or if he's not feeling it, I got Mo Bamba, and Jason Tatum is a guy that I'm not saying his stock's at an all-time low, but it's tough when you're the second best player in the finals and you're getting paid that amount of money. But shit talking aside, Jason Tatum is one of the greatest things since sliced bread. He has a lot of upside. He's led a team to the finals, and he's gonna sign a fat ass contract next year. Scotty Barnes. I know Ruben been watching all the Pro AM games of Scotty Barnes. Scotty Barnes has been clapping motherfuckers left and right. It's the off season. He's picking up James Harden 90 feet. And he's clapping in his face. And when we see him do that in the regular season and the playoffs, hopefully it's gonna be must see TV. And his jumper looking a lot better. I got Desmond Bane. He's gonna spot up. He's gonna get in where he fits in. Cam Reddish, y'all talking down on my man's name. Put some respect on that motherfucker's name. Cam Reddish is gonna be a premium 3-and-D wing. Franz Wagner, premium 3-and-D wing. Cade Cunningham, generational talent, 6'8", can play multiple positions, defend multiple positions, all of that. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, I think when you look at the advanced stats, when you look at the isolation scoring, very few match up to that man. So he's going to be, a bit of that 6-man role, get in where you fit in, get all the buckets you want in the world, and then we'll go from there. So I think this team has a lot of potential. You put this team together, well, you could put all our teams together, probably going to win a chip, but when you look at this team, the ability to play multiple positions, switch on to multiple positions. That's right, Ruben. I like that. You see that, man? That's a man that should have gotten more run in Atlanta. That's a man that should get more run in New York. And that is a man that will get more run in New York. So put some respect on Cam Reddish.
My real reaction to that damn pick.
You know why Nick Nurse's mouth is so open like that? Because, whoa, that was a good fucking pick. All right, Christian, end us off here.
All right. Best for last, as as it should be. I'll do it in order of just in order of position. I got De'Aaron Fox, John Morant, Anthony Edwards, Tyrese Halliburton. We've got Zion Williamson, Jared Allen, Keldon Johnson, Robert Williams III, and Wendell Carter Jr.
Nice team.
That is a solid
Yeah,
team,
so
All teams are nice, man.
Yeah, to be honest, like my team could honestly like rotate between any players on any given day. I mean, between De'Aaron Fox, John Morant, Tyrese Halliburton and Darius Garland, they're all quite literally, besides Tyrese, and I think next year it's very possible that they're all star guards. And then do you have Anthony Edwards, who I think I'm gonna slip into the three. Personally, think he's like big enough and kind of has that frame, and he is posingly 6'6" now, so he's goat size. Um, I do think I could see him playing the three, and it's part of my game too. Like I have Zion at the four, and then really if I didn't want Jared Allen starting, got Robert Williams at third as well. So I think like the small ball game would be pretty immaculate. Pretty. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. Honestly, I feel like if we were to throw this into 2K right now, I'd beat all your teams by 30, respectfully. I honestly I look at this team and I don't even know how I'd structure this because I have 10 players that could start anywhere in the NBA, regardless of where they're at.
I like the confidence. I like the confidence. And speaking of,
how many all-star players do you have on each team?
Chris has definitely got the lowest.
I got the lowest.
How many players do you have that are all-stars that have been all-stars?
I think I got 4.
You got 4. Who are they? Zion,
Ja.
Oh,
Garland was an all-star last year.
I was talking shit. I think I have the least. Looking at my team.
Jarrett Allen.
Yeah, Jared Allen was an all-star.
And let's be real, Anthony Edwards, he kind of just flipped out this year. I have players who are outside of the all-star name should be on another 3 of my players, honestly.
How many all-stars do you have?
So officially I only have 1. Jason Tatum. But hey, when we look at it, SGA has the capability of being an all-star. He should be an all-star, but he always gets shut down. Cade Cunningham, generational talent, for sure gonna have a few all-stars. Scotty Barnes.
Ceiling of a team.
Hmm?
Your team has the highest ceiling.
Yeah, for sure. And you know who's the one guy's gonna make this shit all go? Cam motherfucking Reddish. Scotty Barnes too. Scotty Barnes too. Scotty gonna average a cool 20, 10, and 5.
His name should be Cam Rubbish.
You know, Ruben?
Cam Rubbish.
I'm gonna say it right here on the pod. Cam Reddish is gonna be a solid, super solid rotational player for the Knicks this year. He's gonna average a cool 12, 5, and 3.
All right, so the next order of business here is
No, but for real, Cam Reddish. I will live and die on this hill. Cam Reddish has the capability of being on the level of an RJ Barrett. He just hasn't really gotten his proper shine. I don't think he's gonna really get it in New York, honestly. But what he's gonna be able to do in New York, work hard, and save Jalen Brunson's ass on the defensive end because that motherfucker's gonna get cooked every night.
I mean, he's gonna get cooked by Luka Doncic anyways, so.
Yeah.
So, anyways.
Yeah.
I've got 4 all-stars. I got Luka, Trey, LaMelo, and Brandon Ingram, so. And,
I think that alone, I think Ruben's team, if you throw him in, they'd probably do the best, but immediately.
I lack a lot of size, man.
Yeah,
I'm lacking size, so if you know how to utilize that size,
Come on, man. This is the Backshots podcast. You know we know how to
use
use
size. Don't matter. We got 3 Filipinos in this damn building right now.
hey, we all about 5'7", 5'9", around there, but that's that's 6 feet in the Philippines, baby. That's all that matters.
Yes, Sirski.
Hundies.
Cam Rubbish.
I will not stand for that. Yeah, put some respect on my man. Cam Reddish he's gonna put motherfuckers on notice this year. Just know that. Just know that.
See this right here? I'll see the kids eating barbecue chicken.
That
Luka
looks
Doncic against Cam Rubbish this year.
That looks more like Luka Doncic against Jalen Brunson when he returns. I'm gonna say it right here. Luka probably gonna have 50 on Jalen Brunson's ass when they go to the Garden.
It's big bangs.
He's definitely gonna cook Jalen Brunson. No, but with that being said, this has been another episode of the Blacktop Podcast. We're super happy to be back. And boys, any last little messages to give off before we end this thing?
I'm so excited to see Cam Reddish play next year.
I am also pretty excited to see Cam Reddish play next year.
That's what I love to hear. That's what I love to hear. In all honesty, he's probably gonna. I hope he gets traded again because you know what?
You know,
Hey,
I hope he goes, honestly.
I hope he goes to the Jazz and he puts motherfuckers on notice. Put him in that trade. Let him be the dude over there. It's gonna be fireworks, baby. Just know that.
I would have loved the Raptors.
See? Yeah, he'd fit. I don't know where he'd fit in there though, because I feel like
they need length. They need wings who can guard multiple positions, and Cam Reddish is that kind of guy.
Yeah.
All seriousness, but I digress. Cam Reddish is wow.
Put some respect on my man, y'all. That's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say. So with that being said, stay safe, stay blessed. We'll see y'all soon.
Oh.
Back shots.